Good day, gentlemen. I've been with my girl for almost 6.5 years, and we've built a fantastic relationship together. And today, I want to share 6 lessons that I had to learn over the years to actually solve conflict with my girl effectively. Because despite popular belief, conflict is actually a good thing. Conflict is a sign of a healthy relationship. Conflict essentially shows that you trust each other enough to actually disagree with each other and to actually be honest with each other. So conflict is a very powerful thing. And for most men, though, it's either the case where they shy away from conflict because they're afraid of fucking things up, or they just hold in their emotions, they hold in everything until it bursts out in one big thing and then actually destroys the relationship. I'll be honest, man, I've been at both ends of this spectrum, and I had to learn all these 6 lessons to actually overcome this and actually stay loving and stay mature in conflict situations. Because of course I could tell you to stay calm and use I statements like all these other people on YouTube. But the thing is, you already know this and it doesn't help you, because in a moment of conflict, in a moment where you are in a fight with your partner, what's happening is you simply forget to stay calm and to act loving and act mature. So that's what we'll dive into: how to actually stay calm, how to stay mature, how to stay loving, because that's what's going to actually help you get to the other side like it did for me. So take this serious. Now, for lesson number 1, I want to start off with something really fundamental that no one has ever taught you. There is this quote from the book Attached, which is a book on attachment styles, where the authors say something along the lines of, dependency is a fact. It's not a choice or a preference. What this means is, over time, you will automatically depend on your partner. Like, attachment is a natural thing to happen. So she can't be your enemy, because you're literally one biological unit. At the end of the day, this might not make any sense, but listen up, man. Here's the thing. When two people spend a lot of time together, there's been decades of research about this. Partners regulate their partners regulate each other's blood pressure. Partners regulate each other's heart rate variability and all this stuff. When two women, for example, live together for a prolonged period of time, like a couple months, their periods actually align. They get their period at the same time over a couple months because their nervous systems align. And what this means for you is your well-being depends on her well-being, and her well-being depends on your well-being. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, so I just need to make sure that I meet her needs, because then everything will be good. Because here's the thing. First of all, you then fall into the kind of Mr. Nice Guy trap of just doing things for her, and then she can see that you're not actually living authentically, you're not actually living your truth. And of course, that makes you not really trustworthy, because she can see like, oh, he's just doing this to please me. And she sees right through you, by the way. Like, she sees right through you. And the second thing is, you don't even know her needs. You don't even know exactly what she needs. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video, quite frankly. What you do know, however, are your own needs and your own wants. Those you do know. And so your ticket here is communicating your own wants and your own needs. Basically always, to be honest, yeah. Being really authentic about what you want and what you need from your relationship, from your partner, because that way you make sure that oftentimes, honestly, your needs don't even have to be met. And this is something that's maybe a bit controversial, but for most men, it's not about having their needs met. It's about communicating their needs. That's the first stage for them. They've never even done that. And once they do that, they already feel much better. And when they feel much better, here's the thing. When you feel better because you communicate your needs, or because your needs are being met by her, then you are much more able in a conflict situation to actually show up in a loving, mature way and then meet her needs. And this is what this, of course, comes down to. Like, she needs to meet your needs, you need to meet her needs. But most people, most men especially, they think, oh, if I want to have my needs met, then I need to make sure that I first meet her needs. But that's the wrong approach, because you don't even know her needs. You know your own needs. So communicate those. Start with those. That's your ticket here. Now, for lesson number 2, you need to learn how to handle emotional intensity. Let's go deeper for a moment. This is not just, stay calm, whatever, because I can tell you to stay calm. I can even tell you, in a conflict situation, breathe deeply and relax your muscles and this and that. But for you to actually remember to do that in a situation of conflict, it's not happening. It's simply not happening. So we need to learn how to handle our own emotional intensity, our own emotions rising up, and we need to be able to handle our partner's emotions rising up. And so what we can do here, what helped me do this, and what helped literally 100% of my clients achieve this as well, is very simple. If you are able to handle physical intensity, that directly maps over into you being able to handle mental and emotional intensity. There's this quote that I want to share with you. Actually, one of my clients shared this with me, and it's a quote by Wim Hof, the guy who kind of brought cold exposure and ice baths to the forefront, right? They call him the Iceman. And this guy said, cold is a stressor. So if you are able to get into the cold and control your body's response to it, you will be able to control stress. And this is all this is, stress. David Goggins, the ultramarathon runner and Navy SEAL and whatever the fuck else he's doing these days, he's a great example of this as well. Because do you think that someone like David Goggins, after going through all these physical challenges, which really are just emotional and mental challenges, because the body can do a lot, the mind is where an ultramarathon runner, that's the fight that he's fighting, right? He's not fighting against his body giving up. The body won't give up until a very, very, very far. But the mind will give in and the emotions will come up. And so do you think that someone like David Goggins, who runs hundreds of miles, do you think that after winning all those internal battles of his mind telling him, hey, give up, give up, give up, quit, whatever, do you think that after hundreds or thousands of these battles, tens of thousands of these battles over the lifetime, or over his lifetime so far, do you think that he actually gets emotional in fights? Do you think that he gets like whatever riled up during a fight? Of course not. The reason why this works is because during a workout or during a long distance run or during cold exposure, your mind, your emotions tell you so many times, stop, quit, just give up. And when you don't give up, when you keep going into that intensity and you, like Wim Hof said, you control your body's response to it and you calm your body down during cold exposure or during a workout, that basically signals to your mind, this motherfucker, he can handle intensity. And that includes emotional intensity in a conflict with your woman. Now, lesson number 3 is extremely actionable, so really listen up here. In a situation of conflict, see your woman as the hurt little girl that she actually is in that moment. So let me explain. Conflict threatens us, right? When we're in a situation of conflict, especially with our partner that we love, we feel like there's a threat. Our muscles tense up, our breath quickens, our heart rate quickens, and essentially we are reacting, our body is reacting as if there was a metaphorical tiger in front of us that's about to leap forward and kill us. And of course we feel like that, but the truth is, there is no fucking tiger, man. It's just two people having an emotional experience. That's all it is. There is no threat. And so when you can understand that by seeing your woman not as someone who's trying to threaten you, but actually as someone who is acting like their hurt young self, that immediately puts you into your heart. That immediately calms you down. And as one of my mentors taught me, the mind is trying to predict and protect, right? It's trying to protect you from a threat. It's trying to predict that something bad is going to happen. The heart is trusting, and the heart is patient. And if you bring that energy forward in a conflict situation, if you remind yourself, my girl in this situation is not actually who she is usually, but it's her hurt young self that's shouting at me here, or that's getting emotional here. It's her, essentially her inner child, trying to protect itself. If you have that mindset going into a conflict, or when you're in a conflict, you can put yourself into your heart, you can calm yourself down, which then signals to her again, there is no tiger. You don't need to get emotional. There is no tiger. You don't need to shout at me. You don't need to protect yourself, essentially. You don't need to. There is no threat. There is no need to protect yourself. And that's when she can open up as well. And that's when she can essentially come forward with her needs and with her wants on a mature and loving level, and where both of you can solve that conflict. So see her. See that in those moments of conflict, when she gets emotional, when she gets angry, when she gets upset, it's not her. It's her inner child trying to protect itself. And real quick, before we get into lesson number 4, which will be crucial for you, I want to quickly say, if you are a man in his 20s or early 30s and you've leveled yourself up quite well. You're making decent money, you're in good shape, you found the woman that you want to spend your life with, but your relationship with her isn't quite where you'd want it to be, then I want to offer you my help. Because after I've gone through all these challenges myself, I feel very drawn towards now helping other men get there as well and build the relationship that they want. Because, yeah, this is why I run this channel. And this is also why I offer my mentorship. And if you're interested in that mentorship, if you're interested in taking a relationship to the next level with my guidance, then you can click the link in the description and you can fill out an application form, and then I'll see that application, and if I think, hey, this is someone I'd like to work with, then I'll reach out to you and we'll figure everything out from there. The next round of my mentorship closes in around 2 weeks, so check that out after the video if you're interested. Now, lesson number 4 is also very actionable, so listen up here, because this is one of those lessons that I've learned over and over and over again over the last almost 6.5 years with my girl. And it's this: the longer you keep any concerns to yourself, the more damage will be created in the long run in your relationship. The earlier you bring your concerns to the surface, however, the less negative impact they will have on the relationship. We as men have been taught to just keep things to ourselves, right? To just suck it up, whatever it might be, right? And here's the thing, man. The only 2 things that actually does in a relationship is, firstly, those things stay in your head. You're not expressing them to her. And so those things in your head keep growing and growing and growing. People say shame can only survive in the dark. And it's the same thing for resentment. Resentment will grow in the dark, just like shame will. But the moment you bring it to the surface, the moment you bring it to the light and express it, that resentment, it's gone. Simple as that, it's gone. And the second thing that holding these things to yourself, keeping these things to yourself does, is it's actually robbing your woman of the opportunity to treat you good. Because she wants to treat you good, but she doesn't know how. Because just like we as men have never been taught, probably by our parents or society, for me at least, right, and most men are the same way, we've never been taught how to treat a woman well. Well, most women have also never been taught how to treat a man well. And romanticism brainwashed all of us to think that our partner, because they love us and because we love them, they should know our inner world intuitively. They should intuitively know what upsets us or what bothers us. But how the fuck would that happen? There's this fantastic quote which is, if you don't ask, the answer is no. If you don't express your concerns, they will not be solved. Your partner can't see your inner world. And I want to give a little bonus lesson here as well, which is, I've learned this from Carol Dweck, this person who basically came up with the 2 terms, growth mindset and fixed mindset. And in her book called Mindset, she basically had this one section where she explained that if you set low standards for people around you, they feel entitled to, easy praise, like lavish praise and easy action or something like that. I have it on my phone. Let me quickly look it up because she worded it very well. She said they feel entitled to easy work and lavish praise. That's the one. So if you set low standards for your partner by not expressing what you want, by not expressing your needs, your wants, your resentment, essentially, then what she feels like is, oh, everything's great. I don't have to put in more effort. And he should appreciate me for what I'm already doing. Instead, set a higher standard for her and for yourself, and then help both of you achieve that standard. Just setting a high standard doesn't help, but you need to also help both of you achieve that high standard and work together as a team to achieve it. And for lesson number 5, please understand that the feminine doesn't speak rationally, and you shouldn't try to change it. Because do you find a woman attractive who is so rational and so disciplined and so organized? Or do you find a woman deeply attractive who is so radiant and so flowing? Exactly. And the thing is, so many men, without knowing it, they're trying to make a disciplined man out of their radiant woman. And that, well, in some cases it even works in a way, but then they wonder why there's no attraction anymore. For the feminine, her words express what she's feeling in that very moment where she's expressing those words. I'll give you an example for this to make more sense. My girl always complained a lot that I was working a lot, because I was working a lot. But it wasn't because I was working a lot. It was because in that very moment when she said, "You work too much," in that very moment, she felt like I didn't pay attention to her. She felt like she wasn't seen and she wasn't heard and she wasn't loved, essentially. It's not about me having worked 12 hours the day before. She doesn't care about that. What she cares about is in this very moment where I maybe spent time with her, I was still thinking about work. I wasn't actually there with her. That's what she cared about. So what I've done and what I advise you to do is to develop your masculine decisiveness and to use it to cut through the smokescreen of her words, of her emotions. And that will also help you stay on topic in conflict situations, because she will challenge you. She will bring up stuff from the past or bring up stuff that isn't really on topic to see that she can't get you off the topic. The red pill calls this shit tests. I call it a challenge because that's what it truly is. She's challenging you to see that she can't get you off your path. Because here's the thing, on a primal level, she wants to trust you with her life and with her child's life or future child's life. And that's a big, big ask. And one of those things that help her trust you is to see that she can't move you off your path with her emotions. That you are strong, that you are the rock in the current, essentially, that isn't easily swayed, but that's also still mature enough to obviously take feedback when it's actually valid. A man who's constantly swayed off his path can't be trusted because it shows that he doesn't have a strong core. It shows that he doesn't trust himself. And if you don't trust yourself, why would your woman trust you, right? Robert Glover, the guy who wrote Noma Mr. Nice Guy, he has this fantastic frame where he says like the 3 essences of an attractive man. And before I give you those, realize that attractive means, in a way, trustworthy. Because why do women find a tall man with broad shoulders? Why do most women find that attractive? Well, because they know that this man is likely able to physically protect them from harm. He's trustworthy. Simple. Why do they like an honest man? Because he's trustworthy. All this stuff, right? Now, here's the thing. These 3 essences of Robert Glover are, firstly, an attractive / trustworthy man is comfortable in his own skin. Secondly, he knows where he's going in life. And thirdly, he has fun while he's going there. And I think Robert Glover hit the nail on the head with this. Because a man who's comfortable in his own skin, who knows where he's going in life, and who has fun while he's going there, he isn't easily swayed off his path. He doesn't diverge or is diverge the right word? I'm German, by the way. Sometimes my English isn't perfect, but I think diverge is the right way. Like, he doesn't get straight off the path in some argument, but he actually stays on topic and he takes feedback if it's actually valuable, because he's not insecure about himself and he knows that he wants to learn and wants to continue learning. So if there's something where he realizes, oh, my woman actually knows more about this than I do, or oh, she actually has a point here, then he will take that to heart. Now, for lesson number 6, this is by far the most important lesson in this whole video, because I always keep the most valuable lessons to the end of these videos, so only guys like you who put in all this time, who put in all this effort, only guys like you get these lessons. And lesson number 6 is, if a conflict, or when rather a conflict goes south, it might happen, still happens in my relationship. When a conflict goes south, after the conflict, restore the secure base for your partner and have the expectation and tell her clearly that you also want her to, after a conflict, to restore the secure base for you. Now, what the fuck is a secure base? Benny, stop using these words, these fucking terms that I don't know. Chill, man, I'll explain this. Secure base simply means that we feel comfortable around our partner, we feel like we can rely on them, and we know that we have their full support. Basically, we know, okay, there is this base in my life and I can always return to this, and if I do, I feel safe around this person. That's what it really is. And this is a term used in attachment science, right, which explains what I just explained. And the thing is, if you restore this secure base very quickly after the conflict and you make your partner feel comfortable around you, you let them know that they have your full support, great. But if you don't do that, and the longer you don't do it, the longer your partner essentially will be in this mental spiral of feeling insecure in the relationship. Not insecure of like shy, but insecure in the way of not secure. They don't feel confident. They don't feel comfortable in the relationship. And the longer that keeps on happening, the more effort you will have to put in to actually make her feel secure again. And the same, of course, goes the other way. So it's very important that you restore that secure base quickly for her, and that you let her know that you expect her to also restore that secure base very quickly for you, and you tell her how she can do that, what she can say, how she can act, all that stuff, because then you don't have to put in as much effort as most people to restore that secure base. Because everyone wants to restore that secure base, but most people, or a lot of people, they have a big conflict and they don't talk to each other for a couple of hours or even a couple of days. Bro, in those moments when you don't talk to each other for a couple of days, there's so much insecurity, so much anxiety, so much maybe even avoidance, right? Depends on where you're at, attachment style wise, more avoidant, more anxious, right? That comes up in those moments for both partners. And then both partners have to put in so much effort. Instead, you can just honestly swallow your ego, swallow your pride, and just make her feel safe again, make her feel comfortable again, show her that she has your full support, and that she can always come to you with anything. Couple more thoughts on this as a little bonus for you. The feminine just wants safety. And the longer you let her be in this unsafe state where she's catastrophizing, the more she will catastrophize. Simple as that. And also, of course, use conflict as a learning opportunity. Use conflict as something that you can learn from, because oftentimes in a situation of conflict, both partners might actually be very honest and they might actually say what they truly want. Alex Hormozi, the entrepreneur Alex Hormozi, has a fantastic definition of learning, which is same condition, different behavior. Simple example, right? Same condition. As a child, you touch the stove, right? And you touch the stove once and it's hot and you burn your hand. Cool. Same condition, a few days later or a few weeks later, the stove is on, the stove is hot, you don't touch the stove anymore. So it's the same condition but a different behavior. The same exact thing is something that you can implement in your relationship. Maybe there's the same situation where she brings up something similar, or she, like, just similar conflict, but you respond differently. And what that will do for you over time, everything that we covered today, but especially this last point, is it will help you develop what attachment researchers call the dependency paradox. Basically what this says is, we don't feel safe and we don't feel autonomous and free if we're not able to depend on someone. The moment that we are able, that we know deep down that we're able to depend on someone in our life, that's the moment where we can feel autonomous, where we can feel actually independent. And this might make a lot of sense to you because so many people are trying to be independent, but they're not actually independent. They very much depend on other people, but they don't want to admit that. And the moment they admit and actually see it as a good thing to have someone to depend on, that secure base we talked about, that you can always return to, that's when they can actually basically go out into the world and conquer whatever's in their way. That's what you can do for your partner, and that's what she can do for you. Independence is the result of feeling safe to depend on someone. You will not feel free or independent if there is no one that you can genuinely rely and depend on. And the exact same thing is true for your woman. Get that into your damn head. And again, if you're interested in taking a relationship to the next level with my help, with my guidance, and really building that lifelong companionship with the woman that you're with, then you can apply for my mentorship. There's a link in the description. You can fill out the application form there. It takes you 2 or 3 minutes. I'll read the application, and if I like it, if I'm like, this is someone I would like to work with, I'll reach out to you and we'll figure everything out from there. The next round of my mentorship closes in around 2 weeks, so be quick, don't waste any time. Fill out the application if you're interested, because if you're someone who actually wants this, then I don't want you to miss out on this. I can give you the key, I can tell you to do this, but you have to walk through that door yourself. You have to fill out the application, and I can't do that for you. So maybe we'll talk very soon there, and if not, we'll talk here on YouTube. Talk to you very soon.